Maanasa Loka.
Namaste, Namachivaya. Let's look at this scenario. We're sitting calmly, just having a very relaxing moment. And after a short while, suddenly, just feeling a little out of sync and not feeling very normal, you're not feeling too good. Something is disturbed. And when we leave this for a longer time, we become very dull. Sometimes a feeling of upset sets in. Now, why does this happen? We were perfectly fine, right? So, why suddenly there is this shift? So, if just left alone, this will turn into a burden. When it becomes a burden, it will turn into suffering. What we need to look at is there are agents or factors that affects us in such a way that suffering happens in us. There are causes for it, which we have discussed previously, but how does it actually take place within us? See, if there is a problem, unless we understand what the situation is, what is the problem is, and we can think through thoroughly with clarity, only then we can come to a solution. But most of the time, what happens when an issue arises, first thing is we lose our calmness. And the moment we lose our calmness, there is no clarity in our thinking. And because there's no calmness, there's no clarity, we cannot see the solution even when it is right in front of us. And we can't see the solution. What happens next? We fall into suffering. So, where is the issue? Not being able to identify the problem, not being able to identify the issue. The factors behind this are three. In Tamil, it's said Anavam, Buddhi, and Manas. Now, we can, there's no perfect equivalent translation for these three terms. So I'm just going to give you a very equivalent word that can help you to understand. Now, Anava means the false self. Please, we will go into this in depth. Now, just understand, because remember, we discussed the fact that there is a false self and there's a true self. So, Anavam is actually the false self. It is not real. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is buddhi. All right? Buddhi is the intellectual mind. Generally, we say mind, right? But actually, there are two various functions within the mind. Of course, there are so many others when we look at it scientifically, but we are looking at this from a spiritual point of view. So, in the spiritual point of view, buddhi is actually the intellectual mind. And we come to the third one, manas. Now, this is what we will be discussing in greater detail, because these two, mainly the buddhi and the manas, we have to understand it's working very, very clearly. That is what that will help us gain clarity and understanding of every issue. Now, what manas is, It's the emotional mind. That's it, closest we can come to, right? So, these three factors, three agents, the false self, the intellectual mind, and the emotional mind, is what brings the outside issue within us and transform that issue into suffering. So, in order for us not to fall into suffering, we need to identify that, okay, this is the workings of the false self, this is the intellectual mind, this is the emotional mind. And okay, let's call this homework, right? What I need you all to do before we go into greater detail about these three individual things, just sit down and watch yourself daily for about 10 minutes. Watch what you're doing, how you are feeling, what's going on within your mind. For 10 minutes, just sit in a quiet spot, relax the body, watch the breathing 5-6 times coming in, going out. Feel yourself getting very relaxed. You can even imagine being in a peaceful place. Nothing wrong with that. As long as you feel yourself being in a peaceful mode, that is enough. After that, just be silent, quietly just watch, observe. Watch is not the best word. I think observe is better. Observe what is going on. Look at the way you feel. See what thoughts are running in your head. Just do this. And a lot of things will be revealed to you. And with that revelation, plus our further discussion, it will take you towards clarity, definitely. God's grace and blessings is always guiding us. Thank you.
Maanasa Loka